you were talking about the first church, and the thought that came to my mind was like they knew their enemy. You know,
Yeah. Oh my
like
God.
it was very clear who their enemy was. And I think where the knowledge of the enemy has been removed, a lot of the warfare that we face that should go towards the enemy turns domestic. And it
Wow.
turns internal. I think that's why in Ephesians 5 and 6, he talks about the family and how men ought to love their wives and women ought to submit to their husbands. And then he says, finally, brethren, we can start talking about the external things. And so it's like, so he's like, in order for you to launch out into the depth of warfare, let us first take care of the foundation, which is the family structure. And so Jordan, you attack this so perfectly because you're like, look, it's obviously a plan of the enemy. He's not going to go to the strongest point of the foundation and sometimes the overlooked part of the Christian society or culture, which is the family structure. And he's going to attack that first, because if he can hit at the root of things, that's spiritual warfare. You goes for the root, which is why they said that the axe is laid at the roots, because you can't chop down a tree because the stub's still going to be there. But if you go for the roots, there you remove the memory of what was there. And so I think that's what Satan has been trying to do is take away the memory of why the family structure, the nuclear family, is so important, not just to church, but to society. And so it's like, knowing your enemy, I feel from this conversation especially, is so vital. And when there's a saying that says the devil's, best or lie or whatever is that he's not real. What he loves to convince people is that he's not real. Well, when you remove the face of the enemy, then you're looking for something to slay as a man, and then you're looking for something to slay, and then what you're met with is you start seeing women as your enemy. Oh, I don't want kids. I don't want to be married. Oh, I need to make money. And you start hyping all these different things up, because when you remove your enemy, you remove the thought or the need to know how to fight. And I think it's in Deuteronomy where he talks about, I didn't remove the foreigners from your land because I wanted your children to remember how to fight. And I think that's something so deep in the heart of every person. I just think that the way that men fight and the way that women fight are very different. And so I think that, and I think a lot the same, but I think lines get blurred where the structure of the nuclear family is removed. And like, bro, Jordan, you killed this, because you were talking about how the woman was designed to be uplifted by the man. Yeah. And the man was designed in him to uplift the woman. But when you remove those two components that are supposed to be connected, when you take away the need for one another, you're seen as each other's enemy. Because I have a need to uplift something, but I don't value you anymore. And she has a need to be lifted up, but she doesn't value you anymore. So what we start doing is we start butting heads and start saying, well, I'm going to lift this up because you don't value me. So I only get value when I have money, or I only get value when I have certain status. So I go for this and I don't go for you anymore. That's why we go for inanimate things that really have no value, because in our hearts, we want to be valued. And I don't want to go off on a crazy rant, but I wanted to address that, because I feel I've had conversations with the Lord recently where I'm weeping. Honestly, if I'm being real, I'm weeping, saying, God, I have this desire to not be inconsequential.
Yes.
And I want to conquer. I want to take mountains. I want to do these things. But I feel like I've been told for a long time that you need to die to yourself. And I'm realizing now that is so out of context.
Wow, bro.
that is so out of context, because the very thing that God put in me is the very thing that I've been trying to die to, because I've been told that it's something that was toxic or something that was carnal. But I'm realizing, bro, that it's not carnal for me to want to conquer something. Bro, if you ask my wife, and I'm sure your wife, I think it's so attractive when we step out and we do something and we conquer. I'm just going to be real vulnerable here, and then I'm going to shut up. I put up some curtains the other day, right? I just took upon myself to just put some stuff up around the house, some shelves and some stuff. And she's just looking at me like, "Oh, baby, why is that, bro? Why?" And I know that's it's very elementary in and of itself, right?
Yeah.
But it's something that there's something in the heart of a woman that loves a man that takes initiative, who sees a problem and he goes after it. He doesn't wait for permission. But what are we taught? Well, you need to be wise, brother. You need to count the cost.
Yeah.
Be humble. And it's like, these are not, humility is grabbing the helm. It's grabbing the steering wheel. It's saying, I'm willing to lead this where others have not. I'm willing to go to the wrong place. I'm willing to make a mistake just so that we arrive at the destination where others have not. I think that's humility.